Good morning. Welcome to your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We have some fairly nice conditions out there this morning. High pressure building in from the west and from the north. It's going to give us very nice conditions today. We'll see a change in our weather tomorrow as the area low pressure rides along the North Carolina coast and the Delmarva coastline to give us some unsettled conditions for our Friday afternoon into the early overnight hours of Saturday before we see some decent conditions for the weekend with just weak areas of high pressure and some upper level surfaces moving through with only slight chances of brief rain showers. Looking at our conditions the last 24 hours across the Mid-Atlantic region, seeing Norfolk at the warm spot yesterday at 62 degrees. Here at Wallops we were 58. Most of the locations in the lower 60s to upper 50s. Seeing the overnight lows last night, fairly chilly for this time of year, about 10 degrees below normal across the region. Baltimore at 32 degrees was the cool spot. Here at Wallops we were 38. Salisbury and Ocean City were at 36 degrees last night. Last 24 hours, haven't seen any precipitation across the region, and as of 9 a.m. we are seeing anywhere from mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies with just some upper level cirrus across the region. Seeing temperatures rebound into the mid 40s to the lower 40s across the region. Here at Wallops we saw 45 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Looking at our sounding from this morning, we have a freezing level at 2,900 feet. Our winds out of the north at 1,000 feet at 16 knots, and we see our winds turn more northwesterly above that throughout the column, seeing our peak wind this morning increasing to 65 knots at 25,000 feet out of the northwest. Looking at our current surface observations across the region as well as our infrared satellite and radar, not going to see anything on the radar today as we'll have dry conditions across the region. Going to be seeing a little bit of stratocumulus across the Chesapeake Bay, also over the open waters of the Atlantic. That'll give us a little bit of stratocumulus across the horizon here at Wallops, but overall we'll be seeing an increase of cirrus cloudiness across the region that's going to give us mostly cloudy skies as we move into the afternoon hours today. We'll see temperatures rising up into the mid to upper 50s across the Delmarva Peninsula. Looking at our 12Z surface analysis this morning, we have an area high pressure across the Ohio Valley that's going to be building towards our region for the afternoon. That's going to allow for our winds to die down during the late afternoon and evening hours and really set up an ideal radiational cooling event during the early portion of the overnight hours. We'll have that cirrus building in, so looking at temperatures bottoming out in the upper 30s tonight compared to we saw some mid 30s last night. We'll have an area of low pressure that's developing across the deep south and the Gulf Coast states that's going to ride along the eastern seaboard, going to give us those unsettled conditions for our Friday afternoon. Looking at the latest run of the 3-kilometer NAM model, it's going to give you an idea of what the radar may look like tomorrow. So moving to 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we'll have the rain showers in here. Some of that could be moderate by 2 o'clock. When we move into the late afternoon of the evening hours, we'll see that northeasterly wind pick up across the region, and we'll have some heavy rainfall possible. And we move into the evening hours around 8 o'clock. This is probably our time we'll see the heaviest rainfall across the Wallops region, as well as the gustiest winds or the strongest winds across the region. And moving into the early overnight time period, this is 11 o'clock or 2300 local, we'll see winds starting to become more east-northeasterly and gusting possibly to 40 miles an hour during this time period with some heavy rain across the region. Overall, the system will be quick moving with most likely around an inch to an inch and a half of rain across the region, as well as some gusty onshore winds. No coastal flooding expected at all. Possibly just some minor anomalies around a half to 1 foot during the time period that we see the strongest winds across the region. Overall, we'll look at the next few days of the prog charts, seeing our Thursday and midday planner. We'll have high pressure in control, very nice conditions today. And then for our Thursday night, we'll have the cirrus cloudiness increasing as this area low pressure starts to move towards our region. Then for our Friday morning, we'll see mostly cloudy to overcast skies across the region. High pressure starting to move off toward the northeast. And then by Friday afternoon into the Friday evening, we'll see that area low pressure riding along the Carolinas, giving us some breezy winds as well as that moderate to heavy rain possible Then by Saturday afternoon, you can see the area low pressure quickly moves into the northeast states and provides us with just a southwest westerly wind across the area. That's a dry wind, and we'll see temperatures rebounding into the 60s for our Saturday. Looking at our risk chart for today, we'll have a green chart across the board, high temperature around 56 degrees, increasing cirrus cloudiness. That'll give us mostly cloudy skies during the afternoon. Winds out of the northwest 7 to 12 knots for the afternoon hours. Tonight we'll have that area high pressure building pretty much right overhead, giving us north winds at 3 to 6 knots during the overnight time period, low around 39 degrees, and just pretty nice conditions overall, just a little chilly to start your Friday. Our 24-hour terminal forecast, we're going to have VFR conditions the next 24 hours, and once moving the overnight time period, we'll see that overcast deck around 20,000 feet with the cirrus building in. And then by tomorrow morning at Friday 8 local, we'll see a scatter deck at 2,000 feet, and we'll see some ceilings develop around that 2,000 foot level as we move past the 8 o'clock hour on Friday, most likely towards 10 to 12 o'clock on Friday morning into the afternoon. Our tides are currently normal, and looking at Friday through Saturday, Friday will be mostly cloudy to overcast with rain likely during afternoon, and we'll see some of that rain heavy at times during the late afternoon evening. Onshore winds increasing during the afternoon with wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. During the evening, we'll have a high of 57 degrees. We'll have a red for precipitation, and winds will be over 25 knots most likely during the evening hours. Have an orange for that, and the ceilings below 500 feet, especially during the evening. For Friday night, we'll have rain likely, possibly heavy during the early overnight hours, then skies remaining overcast with a chance of a lingering rain shower. Have onshore winds gusting up to 40 miles an hour early and decreasing after the early overnight time period. We'll see a low of 56 degrees with temperatures rising into the lower 60s overnight. We'll have a red for precipitation for winds over 25 knots and ceilings with the below 500 foot level. We'll see an orange for that. And then Saturday we'll have mostly cloudy to overcast skies, slightly breezy winds, and warmer temperatures, a high of 66 degrees. Looks like that high will be during the morning hours with temperatures leveling out in the lower to mid 60s, so possibly just below 66 degrees for the afternoon. And we'll see a possibility we have winds over 25 knots. The models have really decreased the winds for Saturday afternoon with this cycle of model runs. So still a little bit of uncertainty whether we see that wind up to 25 knots on Saturday. And looks like a good bet we will see the ceilings under 500 feet during Saturday morning. So the next 7 days we're going to have temperatures in the 50s today, as well as tomorrow, with the temperatures rising overnight for Friday into Saturday as that area low pressure tracks just over the Wallops region or just west of the area, allowing us to be in the warm sector for a time, and with the heavier rainfall possibly Friday evening into the early overnight hours of Saturday. Saturday is going to be cloudy to mostly cloudy with that westerly wind. We could see some breaks in the clouds, especially during the late afternoon evening hours. A high in the morning of 66 degrees, and temperatures will remain in the lower 60s to mid 60s during the afternoon. And Sunday we'll have a weak upper level disturbance moving through. That's going to possibly give us a brief shower, but most likely with the drier air mass that's going to be evected in from that west wind after the system moves away, nor'easter moves away from the area, or the area low pressure moves northeast of our area on Saturday morning. We'll just be seeing mostly cloudy skies for Sunday, a high of 62 degrees. And for Monday, looks like we'll have another area low pressure moving quickly through during the morning hours, giving us some rainfall, and then we'll see some clearing skies for the afternoon, a high of 62 degrees. And then for Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll see an area high pressure building in the region on Tuesday, giving us a high of 57. And then for Wednesday, we'll have some upper level ridging and some warmer air moving to the region. It's going to give us a high in the mid to upper 60s across the region, with here at Wallops a high expected at 65 degrees. That's going to complete our 10 a.m. Daily weather briefing. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:15 and at 10 a.m.